there, it's Katie, and today I'm here to tell you how you can print onto tissue paper using just a regular printer and some printer paper and some tissue paper and some tape. And so yeah, let's get started. Sorry for my squeaky chair. To begin, I've got some printer paper and I'm going to shine my light down here so it's better lighting. Okay, so I'm going to begin by taking my printer paper and my tissue paper, and I'm going to line up my tissue paper and sort of flatten it out over the printer paper. And squeaky chair, ready? Go! I'm going to grab my scissors. Squeaky chair. So then I'm going to cut, and I'm going to leave about an inch margin of tissue paper surrounding the printer paper. And cut this side. So I'm just cutting around the paper, leaving roughly an inch. Okay, so I got that all cut, and now I'm gonna lay this over here. And you can see how there's a lot of cool texture. This is just an old piece of tissue paper from a gift. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to pretty much wrap our printer paper like a present. So what I'm going to do is flip this over, and you want to make sure that everything is nice and clean so that there aren't any bumps in there. Okay, so everything's nice and clean now, and like I said, I'm just going to wrap this like a present, making sure it's very snug on top of the paper, so it's very snug on the edge there. And I'm going to take my tape, and just like you would a present, just tape it on there. You flip it over, and the goal is to have this as flush as possible. So actually I'm going to do this side first. So everything on the back here, all of these folded flaps, you want everything to be super flat so that the printer doesn't freak out when you put it through there. And flip this over. Take this corner and cut that as well. So you can see that I just cut it at a diagonal so that there's no folding over. And tape it down. Oops. So I tape this down, and there's a little bit of air in there, and it would probably be okay, but just for the sake of me being a little bit of a perfectionist, I'm going to attempt to take it off. And there's still going to be a little bit of air. It's not going to be completely flush, but your goal is to have it completely flush, then it will be flush enough. This next side here. And just cut the corner at a diagonal again, just like the other side. So, a really cool thing about printing on tissue paper is you can print a number of things on tissue paper. Yeah, you can stamp, resize your stamps in Photoshop and print them out onto tissue paper, and you'll get that cool textured effect. Or you could print out photos, or ephemera would be really cool because it would give it sort of that worn, vintagey look. There are just a number of things that you can print out onto tissue paper and give it that really cool, dimensional, textury look. And then of course you can put it onto paper, or you could put it onto canvas, or you could put it onto your art journal. You could put it on pretty much anything. So let's go over to my printer with this, and I'm going to show you how I print something out. Hey everybody, I'm back. So I had to switch computers. I was recording on my laptop. So here's what I'm going to be printing. It's this image right here. And this is one of the collage sheets from Tangi Baxter's Art Journal Compendium Amazing e-course that I really hope that you guys check out. So let me see if I can move this over. Here's my messy studio. My printer is currently turning on. And I'm going to remove all of the paper that was in it before. I'm going to place my tissue paper over top of my printer paper into my printer, to where the normal paper would go. Okay, so I got the paper into the printer finally. And now what I'm going to do is, here's my image. Got my printer hooked up to my laptop. So yeah, I'm going to go in and go File, Print. And this is how big it's going to be. And I'm actually realizing that I probably don't want it that big because I'm going to be putting it onto a card. So what I'm going to do is open up Photoshop. Here's the size of my cards. So I'm going to make a Photoshop document a little bit bigger. So let's see, I'm going to make one 5 by 6.5. So it's a little bit bigger. Resolution 300. You always, if you're printing something, you want the resolution to be 300. Background, I want to be transparent. And there we go. And I'm going to label it tissue paper card. So I'm creating that file, and I'm going to bring in my download here. So this is, so here's all of the, here it is. So I'm just going to drag this into Photoshop. Take out that border. I'm holding down Shift while dragging so that the image doesn't get distorted. And now I'm just going to go File, Print. And now you can see that it's the correct size on here. Hold this up. I don't know if you can see that. Well, anyways, it's the right size. It has a picture of the paper and this picture in the middle. So here we are. Going to print. Alright, it's printing, I think. The paper went through okay. And it's printing. And rookie mistake. I put it in backwards, but that's okay because my printer is low on ink anyways. So what I did was, I put this side up instead of the back side up. So, since my printer's low on ink, I have an idea. I can go File, Print, and I'm going to just print it in black and white instead. That way I can add my own color. Okay, so time to print it in black and white. And of course I put the back side of the paper up, so the side that had the tape around it, I put that side up. I'm going to choose to print in black and white. And normal printing, let's hope for the best. Here we go. And it went through the printer, and it seems to be printing. And it turned out wonderful. And now I can go in and add some color with marker. I think would probably be the best thing for tissue paper, going in with marker. And Yeah, so that's how you print onto tissue paper. Hey there, it's Katie, and I'm back today with this. And it's got some cool texture going on, of course, because it's on the tissue paper. So that's what I came up with, and I thought that it would make a fun Christmas card for artist friend, possibly. And I colored it using marker and white gel pen. And I was able to blend a little bit since everything stayed wet for just a second, since it's on the tissue paper, which is kind of a smooth surface. I was able to sort of blend some stuff around, like some of that white gel pen I used for some highlights. And I might still add a little bit of color to this. And it's a card, so I can go ahead and write something in it. And here's the original image that I started with, just so that you can see how you can take this and turn it into something completely your own. And they're obviously two very different works of art. So I tried to make it more Christmassy, and I gave her a little hair flip because I like hair flips, and I gave her a little bit of a darker skin tone, a darker complexion, and I just took it in a really different direction, and I had a lot of fun. And of course I added that little collar and little buttons on her shirt. So that is just one example of how you can print onto tissue paper and you can make it into a really cool card. Okay, here's an example of how I created my own stamped image with just a regular acrylic stamp and then enlarged and printed it onto tissue paper. This is the stamp set that I have, and I used the bottom left stamp. This Eiffel Tower stamp is a stamp by Tim Holtz, and the hot air balloons are by Artsy. First, I took a plain sheet of printer paper and wrapped the tissue paper around it, making sure that the tissue was flush on the back by securing the edges all the way around with Scotch tape, just like you had seen in the video. So here's the paper, and as you can see, it's not completely flush, but it's flush enough. Make sure when you place the paper into the printer tray that the tissue paper side is face down, so the taped side should be facing up. I resized my image in Photoshop so that the Eiffel Tower would be quite larger than the stamp I had used. Sizing in Photoshop can be tricky though. Be careful not to make your image too large or it will appear fuzzy and pixelated. This is how my scan came out because of how small the stamp was. When resizing, I accidentally flipped the image, making all of the text backwards, but I did not catch it until after I printed. Lesson learned, and an important thing to point out so that you avoid the same mistake. This is a great example of why I love mixed media art journaling. Mistakes and accidents turn into problem-solving opportunities and unique learning experiences. And because this is likely going in my journal, nobody's probably ever going to see it and notice that the text is backwards, except for you guys here listening in. My printer was also low on ink, hence the green background. But I still think it turned out pretty cool. Look at that awesome texture. Now I can add this to an art journal page, onto a canvas, a wood panel. There are plentiful possibilities.